The conversation continued with the issues about why ABID Bank is coming in. So then eventually AZUMAH presents a press release, and in the press release they say AZUMAH Resources wishes to formally distance itself from a document currently circulating in the media purported to be an invitation to a facility agreement. This is the one before the event. And then they have another one after the event where they write that people should completely dissociate themselves from this. And they also allege that whatever happened was against the reputation of engineers and planners. Then engineers and planners also issued their press release and said that the government of Ghana gave a lease to AZUMAH, blah, blah, blah. From 1992, the company was unable to commence any significant exploration. In 2022, the company, that's AZUMAH, was indebted to the Ghana Revenue Authority and the Minerals Commission to the tune of $5 million. The Ghana Revenue Authority had obtained a judgment in both the High Court and the Court of Appeal against the company and was going to sell the assets of the company. Gold price was low, and so the owners of the company wanted to sell what was left of the company and for the new owner to deal with the risk. Additionally, engineers and planners say the political instability in the neighboring Burkina Faso posed an elevated risk for any more investors. 7. Engineers and planners say in May 2023, the shareholders approached EMP offering to sell for $100 million. EMP accepted the offer and the risk, despite the value of the project being estimated at less than $80 million. The project acquisition and development agreement was signed, the shareholders agreement, in October 2023. That's what Sam Jonah may have been referring to. Per the agreement, the $100 million was to be paid in 2 equal installments of $50 million on June 24 and $50 million in June 2026. By an email exchange between the parties, the first installment on June 2024 was amended to December 2024. Per the agreement, EMP immediately took control of the project and funded the operations of the mine on an average of $500,000 monthly from November 2023 to date, and last expense was June 30, 2025. Per the agreement, EMP appointed 2 representatives. EMP don't say whether they were able to pay the amended date of 31st December 2024. They don't say that, but they said that there was an email that amended the agreement and the obligation. It actually amended the obligation to pay $50 million on a certain date. That $50 million will now be paid on December 2024. It would appear that they were not able to pay that money. They, however, say they funded the project by $500,000 per month. Per the agreement, engineers and planners appointed 2 representatives to the board of directors of AZUMAH Ghana in January 2024. Per the agreement, EMP was responsible for raising the finance to develop the project. Indeed, a top executive of the shareholders of AZUMAH from Australia accompanied officials of EMP to Lomé, Togo, to visit and hold discussions with ABID towards the project. EMP says that they managed to renegotiate the existing liabilities to salvage the entity. They say further that in August 2024, a gentleman named James Wellbank, director of AZUMAH, started making demands to increase the price of the project from $100 million to $300 million. His reason is that after the contract was signed in October 2023, the price of gold increased by more than $100 million. EMP rejected this proposition and insisted on paying the original value. This led to a dispute, and EMP commenced arbitration proceedings in October 2024, asking for an order for specific performance of the contract, particularly when AZUMAH claimed to have unilaterally terminated the agreement. 20. EMP also filed an application in the High Court in 2024 asking for an order for EMP to continue to discharge his obligations under the contract and exercising his rights under the contract until the determination of the arbitration. The High Court upheld the argument of EMP by ruling in June 2025, ordered the status quo to remain for contract to be enforced. In effect, the alleged termination by AZUMAH was held by the court to be of no effect. Now AZUMAH disagree with this chapter 20 of the EMP document. They said all what EMP obtained from the court was an injunction pending the final determination of the arbitration. EMP mentioned arbitration here. They don't say that arbitration has been completed. So let's go. Meanwhile, EMP made a formal application to ABID in early 2024 for a facility of $100 million to pay for the shareholders. ABID finally approved and signed the facility contract to give EMP the $100 million to pay to AZUMAH. Addressing the false allegations in the media, EMP only signed an agreement to acquire AZUMAH after the elections. Okay, EMP said that this is not political because they didn't do the agreement during the elections. They answer all the allegations of the elections. In conclusion, they say that there's a deliberate effort to create conditions that will have made it difficult for EMP to raise the required acquisition capital. There is a vested interest in EMP's failure to raise the funding to open the avenue for some of the directors of AZUMAH to unduly take advantage of the significantly higher gold price. EMP has already obtained a no objection letter from the Minerals Commission to acquire the mine. EMP will continue with the process in line with the agreement for ABID to make payment to the shareholders. EMP will commence development action, blah, blah, blah. Ghanaians, Ibrahim says, should support their own and not allow mercenaries to divert attention from this historic project, the first time ever for a wholly owned Ghanaian company to acquire a large-scale mine.